First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. This is Catch Up Quick, where we want to get you caught up on the stories making headlines as well as your First Alert weather. We're starting by taking a live look outside at beautiful Midtown Atlanta. Here in a couple minutes, First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey will be joining me with a look at your forecast ahead. But before that, I want to jump into some stories we've been following, and starting with this double shooting now under investigation. Investigators working to learn more about what led to this homicide at a southwest Atlanta apartment complex. Atlanta News First Blake Devine reports from Grady Memorial Hospital, where one man is being treated.
Here at the hospital, a man is being treated for gunshot wounds. Police believe this may have been a drug deal gone bad, resulting in a deadly double shooting in southwest Atlanta. Here's what we know according to Atlanta police. Their officers were called out to the Gateway South Apartments on Sylvan Road just before midnight after receiving a 911 call of a person shot. When APD officers arrived on scene, they discovered two men in their 30s, both in the breezeway of the apartment complex. One was already dead, while the other man was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital, where he is now in stable condition. We caught up with homicide detectives who say a narcotics transaction was underway before things took a turn for the worse, suggesting that even more men may have been shot during this dispute.
We know based off the evidence that there were more than the two that are shot.
No arrests have been made, as police still haven't released any sort of description of the suspected shooter. Reporting from Grady Memorial Hospital, Blake Devine, Atlanta News First.
Let's take you out to Hiram for a moment, where officers shot and killed a woman after she apparently stabbed a man to death. Now those three officers on administrative leave and an investigation in full swing. Atlanta News First, Sarah Hammond reports.
This all took place yesterday afternoon around 1 o'clock. Hiram Police say officers were responding to a call for an aggravated assault as a woman was stabbing a man with a knife. Now, when officers arrived, they say she was still armed with that knife, and police say the responding officers attempted to use a less lethal force option, a taser, but the woman kept advancing towards those officers, and that's when one of them shot her. Police rendered aid to both the man and the woman, but both died. No officers were injured, but the three who responded were placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation also responded to this scene at the request of the Hiram Police Department and the Paulding County Sheriff's Office. At the Hiram Police Department, I'm Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
This story tragically breaking overnight. Gunfire in the parking lot of a skating rink sent two people to the hospital. It happened around 11:45 last night, just outside of Cascade Family Skating on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. That's near I-285. A man and a woman were shot. Police say they have a suspect in custody, and officers have not said what led up to the shooting. They did mention that the investigation continues, so as soon as we learn anything, we will let you know in the free Atlanta News First app. All right, I want to take it a little more nationally and talk to you about some prices that could be rising as soon as tonight. Mainstream economists say the costs of cars and groceries could go up very soon. That's due to new tariffs President Trump could impose tonight. Amy Kiley reports.
There are going to be tariffs on Tuesday on Mexico and Canada.
The Commerce Secretary confirms new tariffs are on track to begin around midnight Eastern time tonight. He says a 10% hike on Chinese imports is on the table, on top of last month's increase. Executive orders also call for tariffs on most Canadian and all Mexican goods worth more than $800. The Secretary says the percentage of those duties is unclear. He says the president believes America's neighbors are making progress on border security.
He's sort of thinking about right now how exactly he wants to play it with Mexico and Canada, and that is a fluid situation.
U.S. companies are the ones that have to pay the tariffs. The Trump administration downplays how much of that cost they'd pass on to consumers. Many economists say the proposed tariffs could increase prices for goods like shoes, electronics, groceries, and especially vehicles.
If you can buy one before Tuesday, before the tariffs come in and we either shut down or become more expensive, you should go and do it.
Another concern is that Mexico, China, and Canada could impose retaliatory measures.
We will have a strong, unequivocal, and proportional response as Canadians expect.
But some analysts say the new tariffs could be good for the U.S. in the end. The Trump administration says they're leverage.
And the key would be no tariffs. But to get there, there's a negotiation. He's starting that negotiation.
I'm Amy Kiley, Atlanta News First.
And tonight is also the deadline for employees to accept the Education Department's offer of $25,000 if they quit their jobs. An email from the agency's top human resource official states that employees have until 11:59 tonight to make that decision. The email says the offer is in advance of a, quote, very significant reduction in force. So what comes of that, we will continue to follow that for you. But in the meantime, the news that I'm sure all of you have felt as you stepped outside this morning was a little chillier weather. We're tracking the forecast ahead for your work week. I want to bring in First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey to talk about what's ahead.
Good morning to you guys. How are y'all doing? The sun is out. And it's going to be a much nicer day today. I mean, yesterday was really nice. It was. We were in the 50s. It was sunny, but it was chilly. That will not be the case today. We'll be right back into the 60s today. We're looking at a spring-like week. It's going to be windy tomorrow, but our only first alert weather day is on Wednesday for storms early in the morning before you wake up. It's a low-impact first alert weather day. So, stepping out the door right now, we started the day in the 30s. Many of you were actually in the 20s. It's already 10 degrees warmer than yesterday, though, so we're already seeing that significant warm-up. Many of us back into the 40s versus the 30s yesterday, so this is good news. We will jump into the 60s this afternoon. We saw some early morning clouds from some rain off to our west. You can see those clouds are now filtering out, and we'll continue to see the sunshine come back out. So highs today will jump into the low 60s. No rain and very little cloud cover this afternoon. Just perfection. Now, tomorrow we'll jump into the low 70s. It will be cloudy. It will be very windy. I do expect a wind advisory. The wind is going to pick up ahead of the storms that arrive late on Tuesday night. So prepare for a very windy day tomorrow. If it's your trash day, you'll want to think about where your trash can is, that kind of thing, okay? Low 70s tomorrow. Today, the pollen count is 54. That is down from on Friday. On Friday, the levels were high. The count was in the 200s. Because of the chillier nights, that causes the pollen pores to close back up. So we're at 54 today. It's a moderate level. But with the warm day today and the warm day tomorrow, I expect those pollen levels to be high tomorrow before the rain washes things out on Wednesday and the levels drop back down to low. Usually our peak pollen is at the end of the month of March. I think we're going to get it a week early this year because of how warm it's been, okay? So just be prepared that we are going to see the pollen season a little bit earlier. If you suffer from those seasonal allergies, go ahead and start taking your medicine now to prepare yourself from the pollen coming in a few weeks, okay? So here's a snapshot of tomorrow afternoon. You can see the storms off to our west. Areas to our west may see tornadic storms through the afternoon, but by the time this line reaches us, it's more linear, which just means that the threat for tornadoes is smaller, although we're still going to see a threat for damaging winds. As this moves in around midnight, reaches Atlanta around 2 or 3 a.m., you should plan on maybe a few hours of heavy rain, some rumbles of thunder, and some gusty winds in the overnight hours, but look, by like 7, certainly by 8 a.m., that rain is moving into South Carolina, so it's out of our hair. So this is mainly going to be an overnight event while you're asleep. Again, I'm not seeing a high risk of tornadoes. It's not zero, but it's not high. And you can see that severe risk is higher just off to our west in Alabama. It's a level 2. For us, it's only a level 1 from Atlanta off to the west. For perspective, guys, we get issued under a level 1 risk for severe weather, I would say 50 times a year or more. So this is not a big deal, but it's just something to note. Damaging winds are likely, and you guys know when these lines come through, we can see down trees. So just prepare for that. We're going to pick up about 1 inch of rain. That's not going to cause a concern for flash flooding. Again, most of it will be out of our hair by the time you wake up on Wednesday. Okay, I want to end this forecast with several pieces of good news. Here's the first one. This is the temperature outlook for next week. Unseasonably warm for the entire eastern half of the country. So we're going to be in the 60s mostly this week. Next week, we jump into the 70s. Oh, yeah. And in addition to that, did you guys remember that we spring forward this weekend? Can you believe it's here already? Today, the sun will set at 6:36, but in 1 week, we will have sprung forward. The sun will set at 7:42 p.m. That spring forward happens this coming Saturday night. So we'll lose the hour of sleep, but we'll gain that extra hour of sunlight in the afternoons. So that's very exciting. There's longer days, the later sunsets coming at the end of the week. So the 7-day forecast, not too bad, especially when you look at the temperatures. Our coldest day will be Thursday at a high of 57 degrees. That's basically where we were yesterday. So a chilly day Thursday. Otherwise, we're in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Again, it will be windy tomorrow. We have this early morning storms on Wednesday. And then Friday looks great. Friday looks like the nicest day of the week. In terms of this weekend, I'm seeing a little bit of a chance for some showers Saturday morning. Some rain Saturday night if you're going to be out late past 10 p.m. I do expect rain lasting through Sunday morning, and then we dry out. That's along another cold front that does bring us a cooler day on Sunday. You can see it's 10 degrees cooler than Saturday, okay? So certainly not a washout. Not a reason for a first alert weather day. It's something we'll watch closely. But just know, I mean, after this week, we're in the 70s. So essentially winter's over, guys. I don't see any long, pronounced periods of cold really from here on out. That's something to get excited about. Also, do you see the Braves icons on our 7-day forecast? Those are the days where we have the games on Peachtree TV. So spring training games on Thursday and Sunday, you can watch on Peachtree TV. We're really excited about our partnership with the Braves this year. We have 15 games, all Friday games airing on Peachtree TV. And the first one is in a few weeks in April 4th. So exciting. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you get out and enjoy this spring-like weather. Take your allergy medicine and tune back in for the risks of severe weather. I'll be on at noon on Atlanta News First. We are entering into severe weather season, so we're going to start to see more storm complexes with the risk of severe weather. We got you covered, though. We'll bring you the latest throughout the week, okay? Have a great day.